Hi, Gail. Let me get into the chat here. So, let me go here. So, where the heck? This is not the one I want to be. And this one. Okay. So, if you watched our rewind, hi everybody, then you'll remember the woman that was sitting in front of all of those legal files. She mentioned a baby broker by the name of Tara Lee. Now that was back in October of 2019. So Tara Lee, the woman you see right there on the screen, was a married mother of 5 at the time, living in Michigan. Hi, White Angel. And she had, let me get my notes because I've researched this a lot today. Now, apparently I knew about it back then, but the way my memory's been, I kind of forgot about it a little bit. And then when she brought it up, I said, I'm going to go over it again. So today I've been combing through a lot of stuff. And first I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go through my notes here. So she was from New Haven, Michigan. Do you know where that is, Scooter? And she opened an agency and was the owner. Now, the agency was not licensed. And this just reminds me, we've been going over scammers and fictitious disorder and all of that. Hello, Deputy Scooter. She lied. She said she had a master's degree in social work. Well, that was a lie. She opened this adoption agency called Always Hope Adoption Agency, and she was not licensed. And you might as well call it There's Always a Way to Scam Someone, right? Okay, so she had elaborate tales. What she did was she met many of these prospective parents looking to adopt a baby in Facebook groups, in through word of mouth and things like that. So when she would have these prospective adoptive parents, she would get their money. Now, it was like, I think it was the lowest it was going to be was $20,000. But what would happen is she would match them with a birth mother, but they never met the birth mother. And they would hear these stories. Now, this is just a little bit what I don't understand, okay? So one of the prospective mothers, let's see, her name was Julie. Let me just get her name here. Julie Falkenberry. And Julie Falkenberry said that when she spoke to Tara the first time, she just loved her. She said that Tara, though, would be quick to use, profanity, and she was like rough and stuff. But Julie just thought it was because she dealt with these drug addicted. That is putting it mildly as to what was said. Drug addicted, and I'm trying to think how to say this. Let's say women that work on the street. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? Apparently, I don't know. And then there were people that were mothers that were gang-ard. And that didn't thwart any of these prospective parents. And I don't know, like, if you're running a scam like this, did she do that because it helped her with these situations where, well, I'm going to explain what happened to some of these babies, but most of these birth mothers were made up. Yeah, crossing guards. Most of them were made up, and she made really elaborate tales. But for instance, with Julie Falconberry, right? Julie was, I believe she was an ER nurse. I'm trying to see if that's what, I'm going to go into my notes here. So Tara Lynn Lee is the owner. Okay, she earned, Tara Lee, $2.1 million between the years 2014 to 2018. It was a 4-year fraud. She matched more than 100 prospective adoptive parents. She would string them along for months. They would give her thousands and thousands of dollars. And all but about 24, she had about 24 successful placements, but the rest were strung along, and then there would always be something that left them with no baby. Sometimes there was a baby, and that one baby would have been promised to multiple families, but most times there was not a child. And even in court, she said one of the mothers that she scammed said, she had connected with this baby that she just couldn't stop thinking about. And this birth mother, and she asked her, did this birth mother ever exist? And Tara says, in my heart, she did. Okay? So, yeah, you have this like scammer doing this, but okay, so sometimes there was a baby, there wasn't. And then, so some of the things she did, she would say the parents or the mother changed her mind at the last minute, or that something happened. She even once said that a birth mother was shot and killed, resulting in the death of the baby in utero and the birth mother. And that wasn't true. Let's see. So let me go over here. So we go to Julie Falconberry was an ER nurse. She fell in love with Tara. She was impressed by her master's of social work, which was fake. She paid $20,000, and she thought, she put aside the profanity and the edginess of Tara, saying that, well, she engages with these women, and that's what she does. And this Julie Falconberry and her husband, I believe he was in service or something, she told them they were having a boy. They named the boy Jeremiah Elijah. They were going to call him Eli. And the birth mother's name was Mariah. Now, they never talked to Mariah, but they would text Tara weekly for updates. And Tara would send fake ultrasounds from fake sites to them. She would probably also send ultrasounds maybe from the couple dozen successful ones, who knows, but they didn't talk to the birth mother. They didn't meet the birth mother. And before Jeremiah's birth in October, where this is just crazy, okay, listen to this one. This was in 2017. Tara called Julie and told her to sit down. Got some bad news, sit down. The doctors found genetic abnormalities that were consistent with, let me see how we're going to do this one. When members of the same family procreate. You know what I'm talking about? The word, it begins with in. Okay. And the babies, now, this I don't understand. I would really like to talk to Julie Falkenberg. Maybe she'll come on. Because I really wonder if Julie Falkenberg got the sonograms for this baby, because Tara told her that these abnormalities meant that the baby's face, heart, hands, and feet were not developed, and that the baby's brain had a hole in it. And the baby lived for 45 minutes after birth, and the birth mother named the baby Jesus Elijah to honor the birth parents' middle name that they chose. So they were devastated, okay? But Tara said, listen, you're going to get a package. You're going to get a package with the baby's birth certificate and death certificate and photos, I guess, and footprints and this and that. But 10 months went by and nothing ever came for Julie. And then she heard through the grapevine that adoption agency was closing down. So Julie then texts Tara to send it to her. And Tara texts back that she never got it. But then she says, Julie, I hope you don't think this adoption was a scam. See, that's what I'm talking about when people are defensive right away, like, oh, nothing in this email has been changed. This is exactly, they're already defensive. So, yeah, she goes, I hope you don't think anything about this adoption was a scam. And Julie was actually noticing some problems. She was noticing tragic turns with adoptions from Tara's agency. So she had started to go on, I guess, forums and social media and found out that there were a lot of really tragic things that were happening to these prospective adoptive parents. And so her belief, solidified when Tara said, I'm going to refund you $8,000 of what you paid. And when she got the refund, it was issued by TL, Tara Lee, Adoption Services. So then she knows, oh my gosh, she's closed down the other thing, but she has a new adoption agency, right? And that really freaked her out. So she started to get together and she started to meet some other moms. And these two other women, they formed this trio that really were the reason that Tara Lee was brought to justice. It sounds like a soap opera, right? Super chat? Well, okay. So Julie Falkenberg lived in South Carolina, or lives there. Courtney Edmond was 36 and lived in Denver, Colorado. She started initially giving Tara $9,000 and then $4,000. And then Tara would call her and say, oh my gosh, the birth mom's family, they all got high and they ate all of her food and now she needs more food. And so it was like thousands of dollars. And in the end, she had given Tara $30,000, never got a baby. Another mother this is the third mother that teamed up with them, was Sarah Scott. She was 39. She gave $11,000 for one adoption that failed, and then a $13,000 on the second try, also not resulting in a baby. In one case, they told her that the birth mom changed her mind, and Tara said that, and in this case, there really was a birth mom, right? So apparently that birth mom changed her mind, and Sarah had paid for the apartment that birth mom was living in. And Tara said that because she changed her mind, she threw her out of the apartment. So the three women formed a Facebook group. They started to hear stories from other women. There were about fake sonograms, and Tara had told the people that were trying to adopt to be careful who you tell, because these adoptions have a high failure rate. And so Sarah Scott was on a plane to go and attend the birth of the baby, and Tara told her, wait a minute, got some bad news. The birth mom's parents want the baby. So even though the Facebook group collected a lot of these similar stories, when they went to authorities with this, the authorities didn't want to do anything because it was all crossing state lines, and they're like, nah, we're not getting involved. You have to call the FBI. So they called the FBI tip line, and they told them about this, and the FBI didn't get back to them. Okay? Then Julie goes to, I think it was a Little League game, and she met a guy who used to be in the FBI, but still had friends there, and she started to talk to him about this. And he asked her for more information, and she talked to him, and he went to some of his buddies over there and told them about it. Okay? And like I said, they had 24 she had 24 successful, if you want to say, adoptions, but the rest, they weren't. So now the FBI guy, his buddies were interested. They contacted Julie, and they found more and more moms, and they started to talk to all of those moms. And on November 11th of 2018, the FBI raided Tara Lee's home, where they found Rolex watches, Cartier. They found Louis Vuitton, Dolce & Gabbana, purses and sunglasses, that she had just had a reno on her kitchen, $45,000. They were, I guess, going around to the Louis Vuitton store in Michigan, and they knew Tara's by her name. Teenage daughter had a new Mustang. She was walking around the Louis Vuitton shoes with the red bottoms. Her 5-year-old was wearing Yeezys? I'm not sure what the Yeezys are. The FBI interviewed more than 100 victims to make their case. And like I said, the agency was unlicensed. Now I'm going to bring up the documents here that are going to go into a little more depth. So we have, let's look at her indictment here. Let me pull this over. So this is the grand jury charges. General allegations. Tara Lynn Lee, resident of Macomb County, Michigan, operated under the organization names Always Hope Pregnancy Center, LLC, Always Hope Pregnancy and Education Center, and TL Pregnancy Services, collectively Lee's companies. Lee matched pregnant women with families seeking to adopt children. She received payment from prospective adoptive parents for her services. Couples seeking to adopt also gave Lee money intended to reimburse birth mothers for their expenses. Lee and Lee's companies were not licensed child placing agencies under Michigan law. MS and JS are residents of Colorado. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. ME and JE are residents of Minnesota. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. Jane Doe 1's identity is unknown. In 2018, Lee told potential adoptive parents that Jane Doe 1 was pregnant and due to deliver a baby girl in July of 2018. ET and CT are residents of Georgia. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. LC and JC are residents of Michigan. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. MJ and NJ are residents of Missouri. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. Jane Doe 2 is a resident of Michigan. In 2018, she was pregnant and interested in placing her child into adoption through Tara Lee. CL and JL are residents of South Carolina. This is Julie that I was talking to you about. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. But see, that, this 2018, I'm not jiving that because in what I researched, it said it was 2070, but okay. Maybe the Jane Doe 3 is a resident of Michigan. She was not pregnant in 2018. EL and JL2 are residents of Indiana. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. SM and PM are residents of Ohio. Okay, they were interested in adopting. So they're just going to go through how many perspectives, and you're going to see the Jane Does are not going to match up with these potential adoptive parents, right? Jane Doe 4, identity is unknown. In 2018, Lee told potential adoptive parents that she was pregnant and due to deliver a baby boy in December. MB and JB are residents of Kentucky. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. Jane Doe 5's identity is unknown. Lee told potential adoptive parents that she was going to deliver a boy in March of 2019. AP and CP are residents of South Carolina. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child, and these parents in Kentucky. And then we have another Jane Doe. She was pregnant. She met with Lee, but decided that she did not want to place her child. HB and JB, Alabama, they wanted to adopt a child. And then we have Jane Doe 7, identity not known. She was pregnant and due to deliver a baby also March of 2019. Here's the scheme to defraud. Beginning in approximately 2014 and continuing through November of 2018, Tara Lynn Lee knowingly executed and attempted to execute a scheme to defraud people seeking to adopt children and to obtain money by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. Okay, so companies were not licensed. She was trying to match these birth mothers with adoptive parents. She repeatedly paired birth mothers with adoptive parents. She represented herself to adoptive parents as a legitimate adoption agency. She told birth mothers and adoptive families that she was a licensed social worker and that she would provide birth mothers with counseling and other services during pregnancy and after adoption. She does not have a license to practice social work. It was part of the scheme that Tara Lee matched the birth mothers and the adoptive parents by sending a description of a pregnant woman to a network of adoption connections. The description or opportunity would include the pregnant woman's first name and information about her pregnancy. Interested adoptive families would respond and said the information about themselves. Lee then informed a set of adoptive parents that the birth mother had selected them and requested payment. On several occasions, Lee matched more than one set of adoptive parents to a birth mother. In these double matches, Lee collected payment from both sets of adoptive parents. And I believe she did more than just two. Okay, following? All right. Other times, Lee matched adoptive parents with birth mothers that did not exist. They weren't pregnant. They didn't even exist. Okay? She made them up. Or they decided or had not decided to place their child into adoption. For these fabricated matches, Lee collected payment from prospective adoptive parents. It was part of the scheme that many of the adoptions arranged by Lee failed, either because the pregnancy was not real, the pregnancy had been matched to more than one family, the birth mother was not interested in adoption, or the birth mother changed her mind about adoption. Lee gave false information to adoptive parents when explaining why an adoption failed. It was part of the scheme that when she informed the adoptive parents that the adoption failed, she encouraged them to keep working with her. Okay, so sorry, yeah, I know this is so bad. Oh my gosh, but keep working with me. We're going to get this. Oh my gosh, we are going to get this. I know, let's just keep going. Come on. Like, don't worry, that wasn't meant to be, but your baby's out there. We're going to find one for you. Yeah, okay. So she encouraged them to stay with her, and she gave them new birth mother opportunities, which meant more money, right? She would offer to roll over some of the funds that the adoptive parents had paid for to the new match. In some instances, she requested and obtained additional payment for subsequent birth mother matches. So the allegations of paragraph 1 through 29 are realleged and incorporated. On about February 16th, 2018, MS and JS received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for Jane Doe 1. The opportunity included photographs of Jane Doe 1 and her children. It said that she was pregnant with a girl and that her estimated due date was July 3rd of 2018. MS and JS presented their adoptive parent profile to Tara for consideration for adoption of Jane Doe 1's baby. So look at this. The next day, you see this? You see how fast this moved? The next day, on or about February 17th, 2018, Tara Lee called MS and told her, Jane Doe has chosen you. She's chosen you to adopt her child. Aren't you lucky? On or about February 19th, okay, look how quickly this moved. February 19th, they pay her $19,000 by giving Tara Lee their credit card information over the phone. Now it's fast, right? February 16th, 17th, and 19th, they have almost $20,000. Hi, Sandy. Yeah, right? So on February 17th, ME and JE receive an Always Hope adoption opportunity for Jane Doe. The opportunity was the same one described above. Okay? So she already promised that baby, told them they were matched to one couple. Now she's taking that same birth mother and matching it with another couple. Same time frame. She tells them, hey, she picked you. Okay? And they give her, that couple gives her $20,000 on February 23rd, right? She's laughing all the way to the Louis Vuitton store. She thinks this is great. She thinks this is easy money. She's making up people, and, she's writing all these little scenarios. So from March to June, remember this baby is due in July, she communicates with both sets of these parents, adoptive parents, through text messages and phone conversation. She gives both sets updates about Jane Doe 1 and her pregnancy. Now, around July 1st, Tara calls the one couple and tells them that, hey, the adoption failed because the birth mom delivered the baby without telling me, and she decided not to place it with the agency. I'm so sorry. But look, I have other opportunities. She right away told them they had other opportunities and told them that the money they had paid would roll over to another adoption. So now, on July 1st, same day, she calls the other couple. Well, this is one of the couples that I told you about, I believe. Let me see, because I'm just going to look at the initials here. Yeah, I think that's the... And they began traveling to Michigan, right? They're all excited. Oh, my gosh. We are going to Michigan. We're going to have a baby. And they start traveling. They get into Michigan around July 3rd. And around July 7th, Tara Lee tells them, guys, the adoption has failed. The birth mom has decided not to place the baby. I'm so sorry, but I have another opportunity, right? So on or about the dates set forth in the Eastern District of Michigan and elsewhere, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing a scheme set forth above, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of writings, signs, signals, and sounds described for each count. So they're showing that there were texts from Tara to this prospective adoptive parent about the birth mom, and then to the other set about the birth mom. There was a video that was sent showing a pregnant woman's stomach, a video that she sent. Wire fraud. The allegations of the paragraphs 1 through 29 are realleged and incorporated that on February 25th of 2018, now listen to this one. This prospective adoptive parent received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for a birth mother identified as Rashonda. The opportunity included a photograph of Rashonda, said that she was pregnant with a boy, her estimated due date, June 30th, 2018. She's having them all around. The other one was July, right? Birth mom or birth parent communicates that she's interested. Then literally the same day, Tara calls that prospective parent and says that Rashonda has chosen ET and CT to adopt her child. On February 26th, they pay Tara $15,000 by giving her credit card numbers over the phone. From February to June, Tara communicates with them through text messages and phone conversations and gives them updates about Rashonda and her pregnancy. On or about June 12th of 2018, Tara Lee calls this prospective adoptive parent and tells her that Rashonda had been shot and killed and that her baby had died on the way to the hospital. In truth and fact, the birth mother, Rashonda, did not even exist, and she was not shot and killed. Tara Lee fabricated Rashonda and her entire pregnancy. On or about the dates set forth below, in the Eastern District of Michigan and elsewhere, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purposes of executing the scheme set forth above, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing, signs, signals, and sounds described below for each count constituting a separate count of the indictment. So she sent an ultrasound image. Tara Lee did. She sent a text about Rashonda, all in violation. Count 6 through 9, the allegations of paragraphs 1 through 29 are incorporated and realleged. On or about April 26th of 2018, LC received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for a pregnant birth mom named Jane Doe 2. The opportunity included Jane Doe 2's first name, said the sex of the baby was unknown because Jane Doe 2 was only 6 weeks pregnant. The opportunity stated that her estimated due date was December 17, 2018. LC told Tara Lee that she and JC were interested in adopting Jane Doe 2's baby. So that was on April 27th, the next day. Tara says that you've been chosen. Happy day, you've been chosen. And look at this. On or about April 27th, May 1st, and May 5th, they paid a total of $33,000 by providing her with the credit card numbers over the phone. So, in April, MJ and NJ saw the Always Hope adoption opportunity for Jane Doe 2, described above. Okay, this is another couple. They spoke to Tara. They said that they're interested. Of course, she says, oh, you're so lucky because she's chosen you. And they sent her $25,000 by giving their credit card numbers over the phone. Now, from April to November, Tara communicates with both sets of adoptive parents. through text messages and phone calls. She gave both sets updates about the birth mom and her pregnancy. On or about the date set forth below, in the Eastern District of Michigan, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing the scheme set forth, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing, signs, signals, and sounds described below. So, she sent them text, and she sent them images depicting the birth mother. The allegations in paragraph 1 through 29 are realleged. On or about June 15th of 2018, CL received an Always Hope opportunity for a Jane Doe number 3. The opportunity stated that the baby's sex was unknown and that Jane Doe 3 estimated the due date November 8th, 2018. A photograph of the birth mom was attached to the opportunity, and CL communicated to Tara Lee that she and JL were interested in adopting that child from birth mom 3, right? June of 2018, two other parents here, prospective parents, receive an Always Hope adoption opportunity. Same one as above. They say they're interested. Of course, she tells them they're matched. And they give her $12,000, and the other couple gives her $18,000. In truth, Jane Doe 3 was not pregnant. She did not tell Lee that she was pregnant or otherwise communicate with Lee about adoption. So if she was a real person, she just used her for a picture or whatever. She wasn't pregnant, never asked her to place a child. On or about the date set forth, okay, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing the scheme, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing, signs, signals, and sounds described below. So again, she sent texts to both the allegations. Here we go. So here we've got July 3rd of 2018. SM receives an Always Hope adoption opportunity for a Jane Doe 4. The opportunity stated that Jane Doe 4 is having a baby boy, and she's due in December. And said that she was interested in adopting Jane Doe 4's child. And of course, right, the next day, July 3rd, July 4th, she says, congratulations, they want you. And that prospective adoptive parents, those prospective adoptive parents, SM and PM, they pay Tara $17,000 with their credit card over the phone. And then it looks like with every birth mom, whether fictitious or not, she had two couples, right? In the beginning of July 2018, she told EL about birth mother Jane Doe 4. Okay, on July 5th, JL and EL say, we want to adopt the baby. Okay, July 7th, she waited. She says, oh, wow, you've been chosen. She wants you. And on July 22nd, they pay her $17,000 with their credit card over the phone. So, on or about the date set forth in the Eastern District of Michigan, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing the scheme set forth, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of those writings. So here we go. They've got that there. Count 14, wire fraud. On or about September 21st of 2018, MB and JB learned about an Always Hope opportunity for Jane Doe number 5. The information they received from Jane Doe number 5 said that she was due March 6th and that Jane Doe number 5 had come to Always Hope as a referral from another expectant mother. MB and JB say, we want it, we want that baby. On the 29th, she's waiting a few more days, she tells them that the birth mom, Jane Doe 5, has chosen you guys to adopt her baby, and on September 29th, they pay Tara Lee $15,000 with their credit card over the phone. In truth, prior to accepting payment, Tara never met with Jane Doe 5, had not confirmed she was pregnant, and had not determined that she wanted to work with her to place her child. on or about the dates set forth below in the Eastern District of Michigan and above, and elsewhere, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing the scheme set forth above, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission. Okay, so they show that. On or about October 1st of 2018, AP received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for a Jane Doe number 6. The opportunity said that Jane Doe number 6 was due on March 1st of 2019. The opportunity also stated that Jane Doe 6 came to us as a referral from another expectant mother, and she also received a photograph of Jane Doe 6. AP said, "Tara, we want that baby." And then October 2nd, next day, Tara calls them, "You've been chosen." And on October 3rd, the next day, they pay her $15,000 with their credit card over the phone. On or about October 4th, AP found a Facebook profile for Jane Doe 6. From the profile, AP learned that Jane Doe 6 did not plan to place her child into adoption. So here, this is probably one of the sleuths. She added the picture. She probably did a Google image search and found that it belonged to this person on Facebook and scoured their page and found out, wait, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right at all. She doesn't seem like she's placing her child for adoption. So then this person contacts Tara and withdraws from the match. Now, that's strange, and there should be a little more about that, but that's strange, okay? Like, what did they say to Tara Lee? Did they say, "What are you doing?" Did they report it as fraud? What's going on? On or about October 31st, HC received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for Jane Doe number 6. That's the same one that they said was not real up there. HC tells Lee that she and MC were interested in adopting that baby. On or about October 31st, Lee calls them, "You're chosen." And on the 31st, between the October 31st and November 5th, they pay $15,000 to Tara Lee. Now, it is true that Jane Doe 6 was pregnant in 2018, but she did not tell Tara Lee that she wanted to place her child for adoption. She did not select either of those couples as adoptive parents for her child. On or about the dates set below, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purposes of executing the scheme set forth above, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing, signs, signals, and sounds described below. So there they have her going to Kentucky and calling and to South Carolina. The allegations of paragraphs 1 through 29 are realleged. In October of 2018, HB and JB2 receive an Always Hope opportunity for Jane Doe 7, another birth mom. The opportunity says Jane Doe 7 has a due date March 17th, and that Jane Doe 7 came to us as a referral from another expectant mother. HB and JB2 tell Lee, "Hey, we want that baby." And then on the 21st, she tells them, "You've been chosen," and then they pay her $13,000. In fact, and truth, prior to accepting that payment, Tara never met with Jane Doe 7. She didn't even confirm that Jane Doe 7 was pregnant. She never even determined that Jane Doe 7 wants to work and place her child for adoption. So, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purposes of executing the scheme set forth, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing, signs, signals, and sounds described below. Okay, forfeiture allegation. Let's see. forfeiture in this case may also include the entry as a forfeiture of money judgment in the amount, but okay. All right, that's we have here now. So that was that. That was from March 7th of 2019. Now let me go to, let's see here. So that was Lee indictment. Let's go to the superseding indictment, okay? July 18th of 2019. Okay, with this we don't have to read this again. This is just saying that she ran a unlicensed adoption agency, placement agency, and she took money, and couples seeking to adopt gave Tara Lee money intended to reimburse birth mothers for their expenses. Now here we have Angelica Nieves Wiggins is a resident of Michigan. She claimed to be interested in placing her child into adoption through Tara Lee. Wiggins also referred other birth mothers purportedly interested in adoption to Tara Lee. On occasion, Wiggins impersonated some of these women during phone calls. So she had an accomplice here, right? Mrs. Wiggins. I'm sorry, I can't read that without thinking of the Carol Burnett show. But yeah, she impersonated some of the women. So, we've got the birth mom right here. Okay. Lee and Lee's companies were not licensed in Michigan. MS and JS are residents of Colorado. In 2018, they were interested in adopting a child. ME and JE, Minnesota, were interested. So it's going to go through all the prospective parents. We went through this. We don't have to do it again because it's redundancy, right? So we're going to keep going on. I'm just going to go over like the prospective parents and the birth mom. So we're going to do this. From 2014 to 2018 is when she conducted this fraud. Her companies were not licensed to facilitate adoptions, to place children, or to match birth mothers with adoptive parents, yet she repeatedly paired these birth mothers with adoptive parents and represented herself to adoptive parents as a legitimate adoption agency. She told birth mothers and adoptive families that she was a licensed social worker. She said she had her master's in social work, and that she would provide the birth mothers with counseling and other services and after adoption. It's all a scheme, right? Okay. So on or about February 16th of 2018, MS and JS received the opportunity. They gave her $19,000. Another couple. This is all what we've been through before, because this is the superseding. So we're not going to go through it again. This is the Rashonda, right? We already went through that. Okay, we're going to see about Wiggins because that's the new stuff. On or about April 26, 2018, LC received an Always Hope adoption opportunity for this birth mom. We're going to call her Ms. Wiggins. The opportunity included Wiggins' first name and said the sex of the baby was unknown because Wiggins was only 6 weeks pregnant. The opportunity stated that Wiggins' estimated due date was December 17th, 2018. LC told Tara Lee that she and JC were interested in adopting Wiggins' baby. On or about April 27th, Lee sends LC a text message telling her, "You're so lucky! Wiggins chose you." And then they give her $33,000. Here you go. In April of 2018, MJ and NJ had an opportunity also for Wiggins. Okay, they say, yeah, we're interested. And of course, Tara calls them and says, okay, she chose you, and they pay $25,000. Then from April to November, she communicates with both sets of parents, and she gives updates about Wiggins. On or about the date set forth below, she has this scheme where she's giving them both this information through texts and phone calls. So on or about June 15th, CL receives an always hope opportunity for Jane Doe number 3. We heard that, right? They want to adopt, and this is just, we've already been through that one, okay? And here they have the Jane Doe 4 that was matched up with 2 different couples. Okay, we got Wiggins here again. So, in October of 2018, Lee and Wiggins met with Jane Doe 6. During this meeting, Tara Lee discussed the adoption with Jane Doe 6, who was pregnant, due to deliver a baby in March of 2019. Tara Lee tried to convince Jane Doe 6 to place her baby into adoption, but Jane Doe 6 said, hey, I'm not interested. I don't want to give my baby up for adoption. I don't want to do it. So that didn't stop her, not at all. She got what she needed, and she placed that baby that was not to be given up for adoption with another couple. And then Lee and Wiggins had a 3-way phone call, and Wiggins pretended to be Jane Doe 6 to the other prospective adoptive parents. Okay? And then they said, yeah, we want Jane Doe 6's baby. And they gave her $15,000. And then that's when this one here found a Facebook profile for Jane Doe 6 and learned that, hey, that lady's not placing her child for adoption. And so that woman calls back Tara Lee and says, hey, I'm out of here. Not doing this. But it was true that Jane Doe 6 was pregnant, but she didn't want to place her child. However, Tara Lynn Lee and the Wiggins lady aided and abetted by one another for the purpose of executing the scheme set forth above. They did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission of the writing signs, signals, and sounds described below for each count, constituting a separate count of the indictment. Okay. So this is all the same. I'm only going to go when we have something different than what we just went through, and that would be only when Wiggins is involved, like right here. So October of 2018, Wiggins tells Tara Lee that, hey, wait a minute, I found another girl for you, Jane Doe number 7. She's pregnant. She wants to put her baby up for adoption. So then they matched that one with another couple. And that person was supposed to be due March 17th. And that she had come from a referral from another expectant mother, Mrs. Wiggins, right? They had a 3-way, Tara Lee and Wiggins had a 3-way phone call with those prospective parents. And during the phone call, Wiggins pretends to be Jane Doe number 7. So if Wiggins is really pregnant, she's obviously not giving up her baby. Or if she is, what is she doing? Just joining in with the agency she's looking to put her baby into the hands of to match her baby to birth parents, right? Really, what is this Wiggins doing there? And really, what is the truth of that? That's crazy, right? So anyway, Lee and Wiggins get on a 3-way phone call with those prospective parents. And of course, they want to adopt the baby. And of course, they match. And then they give her $13,000. On or about November 2nd, Lee and Wiggins have a three-way phone call with those prospective parents again. Okay, and Wiggins pretends that she's Jane Doe number 7. In truth and fact, prior to accepting payment from HB and JB2, Lee never met with Jane Doe 7, didn't even confirm she was pregnant, and did not determine that Jane Doe 7 wanted to work with Tara Lee to place her child. So Tara Lynn Lee and the Wiggins woman aided and abetted, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's another thing. Okay. Let's see if we have Wiggins here. Okay, these are the same as what we've read before. All right, here we're going to look at this one now, because this is something different. I don't think we had a Jane Doe number 9. All right, this is different. Let's read this now. June 2018, Tara Lee sent information about a Jane Doe number 9. That said that she was due November 28th, and that Jane Doe 9 and her boyfriend were working very hard on their sobriety, and they just got their son back after he was in CPS care. Tara informs adoptive parents HB2 and CB that Jane Doe 9 has chosen them to adopt her baby. Tara requested payment, and they give her $19,000 with their credit card on the phone. In truth, Jane Doe 9 is not pregnant. She didn't tell Tara Lee that she was pregnant or select that couple for the adoptive parents. Tara Lynn Lee, for the purposes of executing this scheme, made transmissions, right? Now, on or about August 13th of 2018, Lee sent information about birth mother Devane to prospective adoptive parents AR and JR. On or about August 14th, and then AR and JR said, yes, we want that baby, and they pay $15,000. On August 26th, Tara has a three-way call between herself, the adoptive parent, and Devane. The phone call lasts approximately 7 minutes. In truth and in fact, Lee had another woman who was not pregnant impersonate Devane during the call. On or about October 4th, Tara Lee sends AR screenshots of the conversation between Lee and Devane about her pregnancy and about AR's request to see an ultrasound photo. In truth and in fact, the conversation was between Lee's personal cell phone and another cell phone belonging to Lee. So here she's going. She has multiple cell phones. Sound familiar? Okay. On or about October 28th, Lee sends AR a photograph depicting a pregnant woman from the neck down, and that was accompanied with a text. I had D over for dinner tonight, and there's your baby. In truth and in fact, the photograph that Lee sent to AR depicted another pregnant woman that Lee had matched to another couple and was not Devane. On or about the date set forth, Tara Lynn Lee, for the purpose of executing the scheme, did knowingly cause interstate wire transmission. Now, forfeiture. Okay, so let's go on to the next thing that I have, which is we already went over the indictment, and that was the superseding indictment. And we're going to go over this is her plea agreement. So she pled guilty. Okay, guilty plea. Defendant will enter a plea of guilty to counts 4 and 5 of the indictment, which charge her with wire fraud. Elements of the offense: she devised a scheme to defraud or to obtain money and property by materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises. The defendant acted with the intent to defraud, and that second and third is in advancing, furthering, or carrying out the scheme. The defendant caused the transmission of a signal of some kind by means of wire communication in interstate commerce. Factual basis for the guilty pleas. Beginning in approximately 2014 and continuing through November of 2018, the defendant, Tara Lynn Lee, knowingly attempted to execute a scheme to defraud people seeking to adopt children and to obtain money by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. As part of the scheme, Tara Lee made false representations to people seeking to adopt children, so they would send her payment, as well as payment intended to reimburse the birth mother's expenses. By facilitating adoptions, Tara Lee was violating prior orders from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Bureau of Children and Adult Licensing. Tara Lee agrees that for sentencing purposes, she will be held accountable for causing a loss of at least $250,000. She also acknowledges that her scheme involved more than 10 victims and that her victims were vulnerable, and that her conduct resulted in substantial financial hardship to 5 or more of the victims, that she used sophisticated means to conduct her scheme, and that she had an aggravating role in the offense, specifically related to counts 4 and 5 of the indictment. She admits that in or about February 2018, Tara Lee sent information about a birth mom named Rashonda to her network of adoption contacts. The opportunity included a photograph of Rashonda, saying that she was pregnant with a baby boy and had a due date of June 30th of 2018. The information contained in the Rashonda opportunity was false. In truth, in fact, no birth mother named Rashonda had asked Lee to find adoptive parents for the child. Prospective adoptive parent E.T. responded to the opportunity. They said, yes, we want Rashonda's baby. On or about February 25th of 2018, Tara Lee calls E.T. and falsely tells her that Rashonda had chosen her and her husband to adopt their baby. On or about February 26th, E.T. pays Tara Lee $15,000 with her credit card over the phone. And then February to June of 2018, she communicates with E.T. through text messages and phone conversations, giving her false information about Rashonda and her pregnancy. And then, specifically on April 26th, Tara Lee sends E.T. a message that contained an ultrasound photograph that she falsely represented was Rashonda's baby. On June 2nd of 2018, Tara Lee sends E.T. a text message that stated, let's schedule a call for Tuesday to talk about birth plans. Your baby is due this month, right? On or about June 12th, Lee calls E.T., tells her that Rashonda had been shot and killed and that her baby had died. This was false. Tara Lee made up the story because Rashonda did not exist. Sentencing guidelines. The court will find sentencing factors by a preponderance of the evidence. There are no sentencing guideline disputes, except as provided below. The defendant's guideline range is 97 to 121 months as set forth on the attached worksheets if the court finds the defendant's criminal history category is higher than reflected on the attached worksheets, or that the offense level should be higher because after pleading guilty, the defendant made any false statement to or withheld information from her probation officer, otherwise demonstrated a lack of acceptance of responsibility for her offense, or obstructed justice, or committed any crime. And if any such finding results in a guideline range higher than 97 to 121 months, the higher guideline range becomes the agreed range. However, if the court finds the defendant is a career offender, and armed career criminal, or a repeat and dangerous offender as defined under the sentencing guidelines or other federal law, and that finding is not already reflected in the attached worksheets, this paragraph does not authorize a corresponding increase in the agreed range. Neither party may take a position concerning the applicable guidelines that is different than any position of that party as reflected in the attached worksheets. Relevant conduct. Okay, Jane Doe 1 was a double match. We don't have to go through this again, right? We know that. And then Wiggins was a double match. Jane Doe 4 was a double match. Jane Doe 3 was a double match. Jane Doe 5 was a fraudulent match. Jane Doe 6 was a fraudulent match. Jane Doe 7 was a fraudulent match. Jane Doe 8 was a double match. Jane Doe 9 was a fraudulent match. Devane was a fraudulent match. So the court will impose a sentence pursuant to federal rule. The sentence of imprisonment in this case may not exceed the top of the sentencing guideline range. Supervised release for a term, if imposed, follows the term of imprisonment. There's no agreement on supervised release. The court may impose any term of supervised release up to the statutory maximum term. Defendant will pay a special assessment of $200 at the time of sentencing. The court shall order restitution to every identifiable victim of defendant's offense and all other relevant conduct. Defendant agrees that restitution is due and payable immediately after judgment is entered and is subject to immediate enforcement in full by the United States, blah, blah, blah. If the court imposes scheduled payments, defendant agrees that the schedule of payments is a schedule of the minimum payment to, and the payment schedule does not prohibit or limit the methods by which the United States may immediately enforce the judgment in full. Defendant agrees to make full pre-sentence disclosure of her financial status to the United States Attorney's Office by completing a financial disclosure form and the accompanying releases for the purpose of determining her ability to pay restitution. Defendant agrees to complete and return the financial disclosure form within 3 weeks of receiving it. Okay. Let's see. In support of this agreement, the defendant acknowledges that she personally obtained at least $266,750 in criminal proceeds from the adoption fraud scheme. Defendant agrees to the entry of that amount of forfeiture money judgment against her in favor of the United States, the money judgment. Defendant further agrees that she used a portion of the criminal proceeds that she obtained to make payments on real property located at 303 Redford, New Haven, Michigan, the real property, and more specifically described as Lot 45, Weathervane Woods Subdivision, according to the plat thereof as recorded. Okay, so parcel, and that gives the numbers. Defendant agrees to forfeit any interest she may have in the real property and to forfeit any interest she may have in net proceeds derived for any sale of the real property by any person or entity as direct proceeds traceable to her adoption fraud scheme. Okay, so that whatever they get for that is going to be credited against the $266,000 that she owes. Defendant agrees that the money judgment may be satisfied from any property owned by the defendant or under her control. She explicitly agrees to the forfeiture of substitute assets and waives and relinquishes her right to oppose the forfeiture of substitute assets. Defendant will cooperate with the United States in connection with its efforts to identify, locate, seize, and forfeit property that is subject to forfeiture under this agreement. Defendant agrees that she will cooperate with the United States by taking whatever steps are necessary to deliver possession of and clear title to any property that is forfeitable to the United States under this agreement, and will execute any legal documents required to abandon and to forfeit her interest in such property. Defendant will take whatever steps are necessary to ensure that any forfeitable assets are not sold, dispersed, hidden, wasted, or otherwise made unavailable. Government counsel agrees to submit a request to remit or restore any forfeited assets to the victims in this case and apply the forfeited assets to the defendant's restitution obligation. Okay. So that goes on about that, and use of withdrawn guilty plea. If the court allows the defendant to withdraw her guilty plea for a fair and just reason, defendant waives her rights under this There's appeal waiver. Defendant waives any right she may have to appeal her conviction on any grounds. Consequences of withdrawal of guilty plea or vacation of convictions. Remaining additional charges. If the court accepts this agreement, the government will dismiss the remaining counts in the indictment. Collateral consequences. Defendant agrees that her conviction may carry additional consequences, including the potential loss of the right to vote, the right to carry a firearm, the right to serve on a jury, and the ability to hold certain licenses or to be employed in certain fields. Defendant further understands that if she is not a native-born citizen in the United States, there may be adverse immigration consequences resulting from conviction. These include possible removal from the United States, denial of citizenship, denaturalization, denied admission to the United States. Okay, I don't think that it pertains there. Party to the plea agreement, the scope of the plea deal, acceptance of agreement by the defendant, and here's how she signs her name. Look at that. That looks like a sixth grader. Look how she signs her name. Look at that. So there's her criminal history. She had non-sufficient funds, 2 years probation in 2009. She had an ordinance violation, traffic, fines and costs. She had non-sufficient funds, 2006, probation. Ordered because a sentence of imprisonment. The court must. Okay, let's go to the next thing that I have. She got 121 months. Okay, she's going to be transferred to a halfway house. No, not a. I'll tell you what it is. Hold on, we'll get that in a minute. We got a Wiggins plea agreement, okay? This was her accomplice, right? Now, was Wiggins ever pregnant, really? Was she? What happened there? Okay, so Wiggins. Just want to make sure you guys are here. Okay. Defendant's entering a guilty plea to count 15 of the first superseding indictment, which charges her with wire fraud. Okay, so the factual basis is that beginning in 2014 and continuing to November 2018, she participated in and furthered Tara Lee's scheme by telling Lee that various women were pregnant and interested in placing their children for their child for adoption. Wiggins and Lee did not verify that these women were pregnant or confirm that they were interested in adoption. Instead, Wiggins requested and received payment from Tara Lee in exchange for these, air quotes, referrals, and Lee matched the alleged pregnant women with prospective adopted families. Wiggins agrees that for sentencing purposes, she will be accountable for participating in fraud that caused a loss of at least $90,000. Finally, she acknowledges that she knew that the victims of the offense were vulnerable. She knew they were vulnerable, right? I just want to see if they say about her being the birth mom here. They don't, huh? Okay. Specifically related to count 15 of the first superseding indictment, Wiggins admits that in the fall of 2018, she told Tara Lee about a Jane Doe 6, and she and Tara met with Jane Doe 6, who is pregnant, due to deliver a baby in March. During this meeting, Tara discussed adoption with Jane Doe 6, tried to convince Jane Doe 6 to place her baby, but Jane Doe 6 was like, hey, I'm not interested. Then that didn't stop them. Tara sends the information to the network of adoption contacts. The opportunity said that Jane Doe 6 had an estimated due date of March 1st, 2019, and that Jane Doe 6 had come to Lee as a referral from another expectant mother. Prospective adoptive parent AP received this information and told Lee that she was interested in adopting Jane Doe 6's baby. Wiggins participated in a three-way call with AP, but AP is the one, after paying the $15,000, finds Jane Doe 6 on social media, I think it was at Facebook, finds out that she's not interested in placing her child, and she withdraws. Okay, the court will find sentencing factors. There are no sentencing guidelines except as provided below. The defendant's guideline range is 21 to 27 months. Defendant's criminal history category is higher than reflected on, if the court finds that is higher than, and the offense level should be higher. Okay, that's just about the guidelines there. Relevant conduct. Wiggins' fraudulent pregnancy. This is about her being the birth mom. I guess she was never pregnant, right? In April of 2018, Wiggins told Tara Lee that she was pregnant and wanted to place her child into adoption. Tara sent information about the purported pregnancy to her network of contacts, saying she was due December 17th. She told that couple LC and JC that they were chosen to adopt Wiggins' baby. They sent $33,000, and she told them about her pregnancy, communicated, and Wiggins received $8,507 from Lee. In January of 2019, a criminal complaint charged Lee with wire fraud. Her bond conditions prohibited her from continuing to facilitate the adoptions, and at this time, Wiggins began communicating directly with that couple about her pregnancy and her desire for them to adopt her child. From November of 2018 to May of 2019, Wiggins requested and received additional payment directly from those prospective parents. Hi, Snow Remover, good to see you. Snow Remover, I haven't forgot about your ladybug stuff. I have it, it's packed, and I'm getting slowly to that, and I am now extricating that from that whole debacle where you weren't getting mail that I wasn't able to mail. So believe me, you're getting that. In fact, I'm going to put that on because I am packing tomorrow stuff. So I'm going to put that here, snow room, so I remind myself, because I have been not Snow Remover's package. It's all packed. It's all packed, everything. There's even a card in it that I put in there when I was going to ship it out back in, what was it, November? And when I went to pirate ship, it told me I still couldn't ship to Canada. So then Christmas came and everything, and it went back. And as I was going through it, I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, never mind. But now you really reminded me. Hope you're doing well. So Wiggins then communicates directly with these prospective adoptive parents. She's getting payment from them. Wiggins and her husband, Randy Wiggins, and other third parties received about $30,000 because she was doing it with both, I think, two different couples, right? Or is it the same couple? For false representations about her pregnancy and birth mother expenses. But here's the truth, and in fact, from April 2018 to May of 2019, she wasn't even pregnant. She didn't even give birth to any children. In September of 2018, she told Tara Lee that if Jane Doe 5 was pregnant, she'll place her child with you. But even though it said she was due March 6th, and that Jane Doe was another referral, about September of 2018, Lee is telling these parents that your match, they're paying $15,000. But the fact is that Wiggins and Lee had numerous conversations about Jane Doe 5 and the fact that Lee had never met her and didn't even know if she was pregnant. Jane Doe 7 was a fraudulent match that Wiggins told Lee, hey, got a Jane Doe 7, and had a whole thing, but that was just another referral, and she matched couples to that baby, $13,000. Happened that Wiggins was pretending to be Jane Doe 7. And there was, no baby there. So, defendant will pay a special assessment of $100. Let's see what she agrees to make a full pre-sentence disclosure of her financial status. She forfeits to United States any and all real property which constitutes proceeds obtained or derived directly or indirectly from her participation. So what they're saying here is if she bought any real property with those proceeds that she got through this fraud, so if she bought a new house or if she bought, a lot to build on, because she bought it with those proceeds, she's going to forfeit it, and they're going to sell it, and that will go against what she owes. So it says, in support of this agreement, the defendant acknowledges that she and her husband, Randy Wiggins, personally obtained at least $19,781 in criminal proceeds from the adoption fraud scheme. Defendant agrees the money judgment may be satisfied from any property under her control. Okay. Defendant will cooperate. She knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waives all constitutional and statutory challenges to any forfeiture carried out in accordance with this plea agreement. Appeal waivers. Defendant waives any right she may have to appeal her conviction on any grounds. So she understands the collateral consequences of conviction and that it may carry additional consequences under federal and state law. She may have the potential loss of the right to vote, carry a firearm, serve on a jury, the ability to hold certain licenses, or to be employed in certain fields. She further understands that if she is not a native-born citizen of the United States, there may be adverse immigration consequences resulting from conviction, and these include possible removal from the United States, denial of citizenship, denaturalization, denied admission to the United States, yada, yada, yada. And there's her signature. Okay, so good night, Sandy Ellens. Let's see what she had: an assault charge. In 2005, she had a trespass. 2007, she had a larceny charge. She had false pretenses, 14 days. Operating without a license, 1 day. She had a retail fraud, 3rd degree. She had truancy, larceny. Defendant was on probation for truancy at the time of the offense. Okay. Restitution is mandatory. Okay, so let's see what else. Now, let me tell you about what Tara is about her transfer now, okay? Because a lot of people are up in arms because she's going to be transferred, okay? All right, so Tara Lee was sentenced. The federal judge, called her evil and said he wished he could give her life in prison. But she is scheduled to be moved from a federal prison in Alabama back home, so it is a halfway house near Detroit. She will still be in federal custody, but she'll have far fewer restrictions on her freedom. And that has the families who saying they were traumatized, crying, this is not good. And Courtney Edmond, one of the mothers that I told you about before that we started on this, said, and I quote, "It's pretty deep trauma, things that I have needed professional help with." She said, another person, Teresa Matheny, said, "I don't hate people, but I hate her. She hurt my family." Matheny and Edmond said their lives were forever changed by Tara Lee. They say that, hold on a minute, let me just put my thumbnail up here. Okay. They say that the pain isn't something that just goes away. Edmund says she gave Tara Lee more than $23,000 for 2 different failed adoptions, only to learn that Tara had never intended to let her keep any of those babies. And she said, and I quote, "There was grief and loss in holding and meeting 2 babies that we thought were ours. You grieve that because you think that they're your kids, but then you find out that they're not. It's grieving something you never actually had, but you did have." Federal prosecutors say that Tara Lee left a trail of financial and emotional devastation across 24 states, and she had taken in $2.1 million from 160 couples hoping to adopt. As part of the guilty plea, she admitted that she made up fake birth mothers. She admitted that she told adoptive couples that babies had died when they never even existed, that she double-matched couples with the same birth moms. The things that she did to our family, trying to adopt our son out to other families after we already had temporary custody of him, the way she treated our son's birth parents like they were absolute trash. That's a quote from Matney. Now, the judge, Bernard Friedman, sentenced her to 10 years in federal prison. He called her evil, said it was the worst case he'd ever seen in his lengthy career on the bench. 5 years later, federal prosecutors have told Lee's victims that she's going to get transferred from her federal detention center in Alabama to a halfway house in Detroit. And it is called residential reentry centers. Even though she'll technically be in federal custody, the families say they're outraged. They say that they thought Lee would stay behind bars much longer. And they say they feel very frustrated and truly let down. A few months ago, Lee filed a motion for a compassionate release, saying that due to lack of proper medical care, her health has greatly deteriorated. She asked for a compassionate release due to things like elevated blood sugar levels and an ankle injury. So the Mark Chutkow, who's the former chief of criminal division of the United States Attorney's Office in Detroit, says, and I quote, "That is not a terminal illness. That is not something that affects her ability to self-care." And that really is how the Sentencing Commission defines it. Can you care for yourself in prison? He used to review prisoner requests for compassionate release and said Lee's alleged medical conditions likely won't qualify. Said, and I think in addition to the fact that I would say they are not compelling reasons, they're certainly not extraordinary reasons. I would look at the character of the defendant themselves, and here Tara Lee is quite notorious. So that would put at least if I was the judge, my radar antenna up as to can I trust her description of her own medical condition if she was lying about the medical condition of these pregnant mothers. Prison is not supposed to be easy. It's not. I'm sorry, said Matney. Matney said she finds it insulting to hear Tara Lee asking for compassion with her health issues when she says Tara Lee did not take care of the birth mothers when they needed medical care, even though adoptive parents paid her thousands of dollars to do that. Matney said, and I quote, "She sure didn't care about anyone else when she was doing her crimes, and I think it's just a way for her to manipulate the situation." The federal prosecutors are asking the judge to deny Tara Lee's motion, saying she permanently altered the lives of the families that she victimized. She doesn't deserve to be released early. Matney said, and I quote, "She gave many of these families a life sentence, so she deserves the same." So she was supposed to be eligible to move to the halfway house. She will be in October of 2026. So that is what is going on there. And I'm going to go to the chat now and see what you think about this whole story. What do you think about this? Val Kilmer. What? Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer? Let me see. I can't even place him right now. Val Kilmer, film star who played Batman and Jim Morrison, dies at 65. Well, I never watched any of those things. I know the name now when you say. The cause was pneumonia. He was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014 and later recovered, said his daughter Mercedes. He died on Tuesday in Los Angeles. Huh. Val Kilmer. Okay. Hold on. So what do you think of this whole thing with this Tara Lynn Lee? Does anybody have any questions? Um, let me see something. I just saw another case of this law grad that mowed somebody down. Hi, Nora. Yes, she has 5 children, snow remover. She was married and had 5 children. Doc Hollow. Yeah, I've never seen any of those. Isn't that one something? I did answer snow remover's question. 5 children she had, and they were living. Had the people at the Louis Vuitton store knew her by her first name. She was a frequent at Tiffany's, Cartier, Louis Vuitton. She bought her teenage daughter, a new Mustang. Remodeled her kitchen, all kinds of stuff. They found designer bags, Dolce & Gabbana, sunglasses, everything. She was this was easy money, Charles. Just make up another birth mom. You need some money, you want a car, I'll just make up another birth mom. So, and I think there's way more to the Wiggins. I think that's been sanitized on how that occurred. I think they were both way more involved than we know. Okay. But anyway, yeah. And out of, there's 160 that were defrauded. There were perhaps 24 adoptions that went through. So, how do they expect not to get caught? Well, that she might not have gotten caught for a while because nobody even wanted it. Even when they went to the police, they said, "Oh, this crosses state lines. I don't feel like doing it. Just try to contact the FBI." So she could only call the FBI tip line, and they didn't do anything. And because she met somebody at a Little League game, one of these mothers, and that guy used to work for the FBI, and she told him her story. Then he contacted a couple of FBI guys and told them about this, and that's how this got prosecuted. If that hadn't happened, it probably wouldn't get prosecuted. Right? Super Chat Cat, do we know anything about her background and upbringing? Yeah, we do. I did give some. She's, here, let's go. She's married, 5 children. living in Michigan. She'd had a fake master's degree in social work. Okay. Okay, you want to hear something? You want to hear something? Look at this. Look at this. Biography entry for Tara Lynn Lee. Hi, my name is Tara Lee. Did I say Reed? Why? Oh my gosh, Tara Lee. Hi, my name is Tara Lee, and I'm a 43-year-old woman who is currently completing the end of a 121-month sentence for wire fraud at FCI Aliceville. Hold on, let me make this a little larger. At Aliceville. Home confinement is approaching soon. Look at her with an exclamation. Home confinement is approaching soon. I am a God-fearing woman who loves to write and has a passion for music. I have 5 amazing children and the love and support of an amazing family. What, did her husband leave her? She's not mentioning him, right? This was my first offense ever. And I'm great, but that's not true because we saw her criminal past, right? And she had other offenses. This was my first offense ever, and I am grateful each and every second, every single day to the Lord because He saved me. Prison has saved me, changed me, and made me better. This experience has showed me how to live the life He intended for me, and not the one I thought was best. I am eager to get home, make amends, and move forward in a positive direction. My dream is to publish one of my books. So I guess she's been writing in prison, right? Now, what is this? View my profile, view original lesson. What is this about? Subscribe to her newsletter? What is this? Has anybody ever seen anything like this? Projected release date October 6th, 2026. Security level. Subscribe to my newsletter? She has a newsletter? Journal entries. Oh, you want to read some of her journal entries? Wow, let's see. Load more. Who knew about this? Okay. Book reports, release plans, testimonials. You can leave a testimonial. Okay, journal entry. I begin each day thanking Jesus for just allowing me to see another day, and then I slowly sit up to grab my wheelchair. It dawned on me as soon as I sat up how much life has changed since being in the chair. I have been wheelchair bound for 10 weeks now because I fell and broke my ankle. It is not healing very well, thus making getting around very difficult, especially in prison. I realized at that moment how much we take walking for granted. It is a privilege to be able to walk. Our body is a temple. It is the only one we get in this life, and I believe wholeheartedly that one cannot even really fathom it until the ability to walk is taken from you. Today, I had to go out to recreation for a crochet class. I have been waiting for 5 years to take crochet and did not have anyone to push me. It was 104 degrees out and so humid. I had to push myself. When I was just about halfway to the rec yard, a complete stranger asked me if she could push me the rest of the way. I must admit I was a bit shocked. Most women here do not offer to do things for those they do not know. It is considered an invasion of space. Her kindness overwhelmed me. After we got to the rec yard, I got her name and thanked her many times. There is good in this place. She reminded me that no matter where we are, most people are still good. I am blessed for each and every small blessing every single day. I made it my mission for the remainder of the day to pay it forward and help someone I didn't know. You can be the change, even in a dark place like prison. That was July 23rd of 2024. This is July 27th. I am FSA eligible. I have been my entire journey. It has been the greatest legislature ever passed for criminal justice reform. It actually allows us inmates to work towards a goal of rehabilitation, because rehabilitation earns credits towards early release and more halfway house time. It's a wonderful piece of legislature, and I have worked extremely hard each month to earn the 15 days credit. Here is the problem. No one in the entire BOP knows how to properly implement FSA credits. Even though there is a 100-page policy on the program and how it is to be implemented, not one employee, at least here at Aliceville, knows exactly how it works. So many of us, like myself, are sitting here with credits being earned and should be at home already, yet are sitting here fighting with our institution to not only do their job, but do it correctly. I have started my administrative remedy, and when I turned in the BP-8, it got sent to the wrong person, so it was delayed by 45 days. Then the response was something totally different from the request I was making, so now the BP-9 is being turned in 20 days late. I even turned in policy with my request, and it wasn't even looked at. For whatever reason, staff at Aliceville and all over the country do not want to award the credits so that we can actually get home faster. They want to have them sit in cyberspace taunting us. It is completely ludicrous and unfair. Why are inmates working so hard to get better when the prison staff employed to help us are making it impossible to get home? Boy, if Sarah Boone has one of these, can you imagine? We need reform. Every single aspect of the federal criminal justice system needs reform. The mentality is, why should I even program when no one actually helps? We have women here falling out from drugs, overdosing, attempting suicide, and participating in other criminal activity because no one at FCI Aliceville helps. When I release, I plan to do my best to expose the neglect inside the federal prison system. I am searching for anyone and everyone to help me make change. Everyone deserves a second chance, especially if they're trying so hard to be better. What? Some lady used to say what, Scooter? I don't know what you're saying. Okay, this is July. This is 3 days after that. Prison friendships. You tell me you like me, you want to be friends. The thought makes me happy until the doubt creeps in. I begin to think, thoughts arise, wait. Slow down, they say. Give this some time. If I show you my scars and all of my broken, will you offer to help me fix them? Or will you jump on the next thing smoking? If I cry out to you, show you my fears, decide to make my past mistakes totally clear, will you grab a tissue and wipe away the tears? Or will you use it against me to all of our peers? When talking shite seems to be the norm, will you be willing to stand up for me to the whole entire dorm? When the gossip gets real and spreads behind my back, when things get repeated with very little tact, would you call out the person talking shite by her name? Or would you sit there in silence, afraid you'd be the one they blame? When the depression is real and I can't leave the bed, will you come and sit beside me, even if there's nothing to be said? To fix the pain that runs so deep, can you be that friend, the one I know I can keep? The one I can count on to be there when I have nothing to offer, the one I seek out when there's no food in the locker. Will you stick by my side if I have nothing to give? Can you love me through it when I don't know how to forgive? The issues from my past still feeling new. Will you ride this out with me when there's nothing you can do? When the Cash App takes weeks because my husband forgets, or when my brain stops working and I forget some of my debts, will you trust in me enough to believe what I speak is true, or will I become just another prison liar? Will you swear you had no clue? When they ask you about me, what will you say? Am I someone you defend, or will you just throw me away? Because following the crowd is the easier way to go. Will you love me or leave me? I guess time will show. If I matter to you, or are you just like the rest? Is this friendship real, or were you just another test to see how much I would give, how much you could take? How much would I give to you? Would I bend? Would I break? These things I must question before I decide what to do. It's not easy being my friend. I know this much is true. I'm crazy, I'm loud, and sometimes my head's in the clouds, but I love without limits, and I will always be around. I don't want your pity. I don't need your protection. Really what I need is a friend with some damn sense of direction. To navigate the pressures of prison and lessons to be learned, I need a friend who knows how it feels to be burned. Are you this person? Is this too much to ask? Can you hold your head high when I take off my mask? I want this friendship, really I do. So what do you say? It's now up to you. She hurt her ankle. Okay? That's what happened. She hurt her ankle. Journal entry. As I have journaled about previously, I'm recovering from a severe fracture to my... She's answering your question, Scooter. Here you go. I am recovering from a severe fracture to my left ankle. I broke my ankle from my tibia all the way to my fibia and spent 10.5 weeks in a cast, wheelchair bound. I just recently was taken out of the cast and given a brace to wear. I cannot begin to tell you the joy that comes from being able to walk after not being able to use my legs for a long period of time. With that being said, medical care at the BOP is in desperate need of reform. If an inmate is seen, the bare minimum is done. COVID is running wild around this compound right now, with a large number of the inmate population sick with it. The ones that are going to medical to be seen are being sent to the SHU, Special Housing Unit, to be quarantined. The rest of us are sticking it out in silence, too afraid to be sent to the SHU. The staff walk around with cans of Lysol and bleach, wearing masks. However, inmates are unable to have any real disinfecting tools and are not allowed to wear masks to protect themselves. I have started to write things up using the administrative remedies here at the prison. I know that I am just one person, but hopefully my voice will help to make some sort of change. Just because a person makes mistakes does not disqualify them from accurate medical care. We need to do more. There are many inmates here who are elderly and immune compromised. It is our job to call out the BOP and require them to do more. To put the health of the inmates first, we need support. I hope that by raising awareness through this website and others, when I release, I will be able to help make a difference for those inmates whose lives are forever in the BOP's hands. Was that this one? I just wanted to make sure. Yes, I just wanted to make sure. Oh, we got a poem here. Gossip Girl. You don't notice me, but I watch you each day, wandering around, looking for someone, anyone, who will listen to what you have to say. You need all the attention as you repeat what you've heard, to spill the latest rumors, most of them completely absurd. You'll tell them of Mary who cheated on Sue. You'll fill them in that Jenny, the bunkie, well, she knew. But didn't tell Sue, well, because she's no snitch. So instead she told you, 'cause this info you'd surely ditch. To everyone around, the young and the old. You have to spread the word. This story won't go untold. Never is it your intention to get all of the facts, nor do you care what the information the story lacks. There's never a worry about whether it's true. It's all about the attention it brings. That's all that matters to you. Oh dear Gossip Girl, don't you see? You represent everything that most of us never want to be. We're striving to be better than we were before. You're still stuck and angry, trying to settle a score. We want to uplift others and share our support while you're doing a great job of running your own report. With anyone who would be willing to lend a helping hand your way, you're burning bridges with every untruthful word you say. Gossip Girl, why can't you tell that your actions and behavior do not go over well? You're trying to win friends, using the only way you know, by bringing others down, hurting them and making them feel low. But trying to win real friends this way just won't work, because lying and gossiping is where the evil ones lurk. Gossip Girl, you really must learn what it means to be a friend, what it means to discern the difference between what's fact and what's fiction. Where's the truth between the lies and encryptions? Gossip Girl, I pray for you each day. I pray that you learn to really think about what you say before you speak it, and you recognize what the words you speak may do. I pray that you never feel what it's like to have it done to you. I pray that you ask for forgiveness. That's a great start. But most of all, dear Gossip Girl, I pray that God heals and softens your broken heart. Hello, heart. Let's see what she's written here. August 14th. Journal entry. It's been a bit hectic around the compound lately. The BOP Oversight Committee was here for a day, and the compound lost an amazing officer. She passed away in her sleep, so everyone has been a bit out of sorts. So with that being said, journaling has been an afterthought for me. When anyone passes away, whether it be an employee or an inmate, it leaves a mark on your soul. When you are in prison, this becomes a world of its own to you. We literally have a library, a store, a laundromat, a church, doctor's office, a psychology office, as well as a gym. So essentially for many of us, this is our world. So much like in the free world, when a loss of any kind occurs, you're affected. Only because this is such a small world, the loss is felt by everyone here. I am reminded this week how precious life is, regardless of where you are and who you live with. Tomorrow is never promised. My hope is that when I release from here, I will be able to gain the support from the public to help those inmates who do not have contact with their loved ones in the free world regain contact. Life is too short to stay mad. making change on the FCI Aliceville compound. So, I've been reading The Circle Maker as well as Draw the Circle, both faith-based books by author Mark Batterson. I love both of these books. They go hand in hand and have really pushed me to move my faith walk up by miles instead of inches. Well, it had been on my heart for quite some time to start a small prayer circle in our unit nightly. However, I didn't know what exactly the group looked like or what our prayer focus would be. And then God spoke to me, loud and clear, we need to pray for this compound. 2 Chronicles 7:14, he said to me, clear as day. So obviously I said, yes, God, and went to my fellow prayer warriors in the unit and put together a group. Then another inmate said, Tara, what if we could get a small group together in every unit to pray together at 7:14 p.m. every night, asking God to heal our land? What an amazing idea. So we spread the word, and today at church I approached our head chaplain and asked him for help getting this started, and guess what? He loved the idea and made an announcement. Now we have head prayer warriors in every unit designed to lead a prayer surrounding 2 Chronicles 7:14 every evening at 7:14. Ask, and it shall be given. Knock, and the doors will open. I know that big change is about to happen on this compound, and the change, I think she means if the change is something that only God can provide, it is the change that is, I don't know what she put there, that only God can provide. It is so amazing to see women come together for the greater good. Today was a huge win for all of us women on the compound. I just know that God is going to move mountains. How about you out there in the free world? Can you pray for us at 7:14 every day and ask God to heal the land at FCI Aliceville? We sure could use it. Please share. She wants to please share this. She wants me to share this. Okay, medical trip gone wrong. Prologue. When inmates are to be taken out to an escorted medical trip, inmates are shackled by handcuffs and waist chains as well as bound by their feet. They are then placed in a vehicle at Aliceville, a van, that has bars over all of the windows. The passengers and the back doors of the van are also locked with master locks, thus making any possible exit a barricade. This is apparently done to ensure the safety and security of an inmate. BOP policy states that an inmate who is minimum or low security does not require the leg restraints, but Aliceville insists on using them for all of the trips regardless of security level or behavior of the inmate. Yesterday, I was taken out by BOP staff for a medical trip to UA Birmingham. We left the facility at 8 a.m. I was shackled at my hands and legs and placed in the van. I am diabetic and had not eaten anything because I was not planning on being in the van for 5 hours of my day. They do not tell us when they're taking us on trips because it is a security risk, as an inmate may try to plan an escape. Thus I digressed. Anyway, I had 2 escort officers, 1 female officer for obvious reasons, and a male officer who is the driver and carries the gun. We are told that if we try to run, they are ordered to shoot to kill. In my entire incarceration, I have never heard of a woman trying to escape while in shackles on an escort trip, but who knows? Anyway, about an hour into my trip, I noticed that we were traveling extremely fast. So I moved myself over to the middle seat and was able to see that the driver of the van was going over 90 miles per hour. I immediately felt my anxiety start to take over. I suffer from panic. The officer was weaving in and out of traffic, switching lanes, and having to brake hard as he encountered slower traffic. This driving went on for some time, and we eventually passed an Alabama state trooper who was in a Dodge Charger on the side of the interstate. He immediately turned on his lights and proceeded to follow us. Yes, We got pulled over in a BOP vehicle. The trooper approached the vehicle and noticed me. He tipped his hat and said something to the driver of our vehicle and then left. Yes, just left. The trooper allowed the man driving the vehicle at least 30 miles over the posted speed limit to just go, knowing that his driving was reckless and could have seriously injured himself, the female officer, me, or anyone on the road that may have hurt had we crashed. BOP employees are hired to ensure the safety and security of all inmates. The employee's behavior was reckless and egregious. Had we crashed, I would be dead. Inmates are bound by their hands and feet inside a moving cage. Any crash at 90 miles per hour would most likely end up with one or more of the passengers incapacitated. There are master's locks on all the doors, so how would I even save myself or have anyone else save me? This practice is inexcusable and negligent. If an officer feels that they can drive that fast with an inmate in the vehicle, then they should allow the inmate to remain unrestrained in case of an emergency. What would have happened if he crashed and hurt a person in another vehicle? There was absolutely no consequences enforced to the officer who put my life in danger yesterday. It was just another day at the office for him. This is unacceptable, and things need to be changed. Regardless of the crime we committed or the mistakes we made, our lives matter. We matter, and should never be put in a dangerous situation by the people employed to keep us safe. One more note. As I stated, I am diabetic, and the trip to Birmingham takes 2 hours and 30 minutes. We are not given anything to drink or eat while on the trip. We are forced to go hungry and thirsty. I was dehydrated, and my sugar was low when I returned to the prison. This is completely unacceptable. We need change. Will you be that person? Will you help us be a voice for those who are behind the fence and at the mercy of officers who do not care? Hi, Victoria. Hi, sweetheart. Okay. The mirror. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Is it a picture of the real you, or just a mask of the person you're pretending to be? Does looking in that mirror cause you to smile, or does it make you pause and think for a little while? Like little lady. She did a little. And look, little lady, you came in just that point. Oh my gosh, little lady, did you see that? She said, think for a little while, and I didn't even see you, and I said, like, little lady, and then I looked at the chat and you were here. That's crazy. The image in that mirror, is it a facade you portray to hide yourself from what others may say? If you stare at it long enough, does the mirror talk back, reminding you of the many qualities that you think you lack? Does shame and guilty cause you to look away? I think she means guilt. Do remorse and regret cause you to stray? Are you plagued by what others have said? Do you look in the mirror and wish you were dead? No. I know how it feels. I've been there many times. Glaring at that glass, staring, just looking for signs. Waiting and waiting for a glimmer of hope, something, anything, that will help you cope. The past still haunts you, and you can't let go, so that damn mirror becomes the devil you know. But friend, I promise you, that mirror isn't to blame. The fault lies in the acceptance you refuse to claim. Denial is safe and an easy place to live, but Jesus is real, and he's ready to forgive. Your past wiped clean, forgotten and gone. He said it the best. It is finished. It is done. He paid for our sins. His life sacrificed for ours. He died on that cross and relieved us of our scars. His love is true and endures forever. Those claims you are dragging, he's waiting to sever. I'm sure that she means that. His love washes you clean. You'll be white as snow. A relationship with him is the only way you'll grow. He'll love you through it. When you can't love enough, to give yourself grace when times get rough. It won't always be easy. At times things will be hard, but with Jesus as your Savior, your life He'll always guard. That image in the mirror will most certainly change. Never again will the devil take center stage. With Jesus as your guide, the mirror will begin to show you how far you've come and all you have yet to do. His love is steadfast, honest, and true. So wipe that mirror clean and start your life anew. I don't know if they did Super Chat. Okay. Social media and media in general. Sensationalism. I used to live on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Etsy, Pinterest, etc. I lived on all of them. I updated my life every 15 minutes. She put minutes twice. And posted everything. Nothing was hidden from public view. And then I caught a Fed case. I caught a Fed case. At that point, every single thing I ever posted was used against me in my case. Even after the accounts were deleted, my post became my greatest enemy. All during my pre-trial, the news coverage happened monthly. Posts were made, stories were told, groups were formed, and I sat quietly in county jail. I thought after my sentencing that things would die down. I was so wrong. During my 5 years that I have been in Ellisville, I have received over 36 requests for interviews, stories. Wow, this is crazy, Super Chat. You just asked me this, and here she answered. Listen to what happened tonight. Scooter asked about her ankle. The very first thing I read addressed her ankle. I said, the little lady appeared. Now you just asked me about this, and she's answering your question. Isn't that crazy? Oh, boy. Okay, sorry. I have received over 36 requests for interviews, stories, books, news stories, and so much more, and every letter is the same. We want you to be able to share your side of the story. Each of them claim to have sensitivity to my side and just want an honest outlook. Every letter the same, just worded a bit differently. But what I have come to realize is that not one of these media outlets are actually interested in being non-biased. Not one of these outlets actually care about my side. They are all, in fact, looking for ratings. Each of them just looking to be the next big thing. And let's face it, most Americans or people in general really aren't looking for the truth. They are looking for all the drama, gossip, and dirty secrets. We see it every single day on the Oxygen Channel, A&E, etc. Reality television today is all the thing, drama and sensationalism for ratings. No one wants to hear about remorse, regret, or even the other side. It's just become a really over-sensationalized industry that thrives on hurting others. I wonder if any of these media companies realize the danger, the damage that they do to family members of the criminal. Does anyone ever think about the children or the spouse that has to continue to live and move on every day? Does any of these producers ever stop to think maybe their cruel intentions are just as criminal as some of our actions? No one that I have ever encountered has said that they woke up one day and said, hey, I want to destroy some lives today. I am going to go out and commit a crime. Or accidents or forced situations, you just never know. I wonder whatever happened to we all make mistakes. Maybe it's time to put a little more amazing back into race and stop telling stories for ratings and start sharing truths to make change. Was that it? That's the only... So book reports? I don't understand this. I've never... Has anybody ever seen anything like this? Can you imagine if Sarah Boone has one of these? Sarah Boone wants one of these. Wow. Sarah Boone would be incredible. There are no testimonials. There's no release plans. What about a tribe? Subscribe to her newsletter. Subscribe to her newsletter. Oh, this is so strange, isn't it? Prison professors. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let me get... Okay, I want to go through something else, though, too. Hold on a minute. I'm so hungry. I don't know what is wrong. Jury selection is to begin tomorrow for Karen Reed. Did you watch the documentary on her? Attorney General tells prosecutors to seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione. Missouri mom and 1-year-old tot missing for weeks in Harrisonville, Missouri. There's a missing Kansas woman. Silver alert. Be on the lookout for tips on a critically missing Texas woman. Missing Oregon foster child, possibly in danger. Let's see, Tennessee DA. Oh my goodness. Texas girl was shot and killed at the playground and a 13-year-old arrested. Mom named Echo. Gosh, I knew an Echo. Well, my daughter did. Let me see who this is. Missouri. Everything's in Missouri lately. Missouri mom and 2 children missing since February. Missouri again. What is going on? Babysitter flees home after stabbing 3-year-old Arizona girl dead. My goodness, this is crazy. See something. Okay, so Val Kilmer, we said, is Top Gun actor, dies at 65. Paul Rudd and Drew Barrymore together? The little girl, 9 years old, died during a dental procedure under anesthesia. She was sent home asleep, and Kim Delaney cleared of assault charges against her husband? Thanks. I don't know. We've been going through rewinds and missing a lot of this, and I don't know. I think I just will do a recap on the news. Let's see what's going on with Meghan Markle loves these affordable gap reformation, and I get the Meghan Markle shares behind the scenes look at bringing her brand to life, starting in her kitchen. Well, it's not really her kitchen that she films in, it's some other house, isn't it? Yeah. Let's see. Prince Harry is heartbroken over charity fallout amid claims he sent an unpleasant message to the St. Val chairwoman. Okay. Mother's Day, she shares her Instagram. Okay. All right, let me go to do we have any updates, Scooter? On the situation? Tony Bennett, there's a lawsuit. Did you know that? His daughters claim that their brother had unchecked control over father's finances in a new lawsuit. That doctor in Hawaii that tried to kill his wife by shoving her off a cliff, they were allegedly celebrating his wife's birthday when he tried to do that. Okay, let's see about the best true crime documentaries to stream now. How about we see that? Okay. Here's what they are, okay? So, hold on a minute. So there's one called, I'm going to pull this up. Can you hold on a minute? Someone's at the door. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, sorry. So let's go on with this now. This is, okay, we're going to look at the top true crime streaming things. So, the bad influence, it's about the dark side of kid influencing. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Oh my goodness. Okay. Any more interruptions? Okay. So this is about an internet celebrity, Piper Raquel, who started a social media career at 8 years old, built a multi-million-dollar empire through viral challenges, staged pranks, and seemingly innocent crush content with her friends. I remember a long time ago, let me say 2017 maybe, 2016, 2017, Luke and I were looking at, I don't know what we were looking at. We were looking at something. Oh, I know what it was. We were looking, or is Ethan, yeah. Something about a book they were reading. And it brought us to this, like, really young kid that had her own YouTube channel. And it was like, she was just in her room, like, not in her room, in the house recording this as if she was, like, all alone after school. And I was thinking, like, she was doing all this stuff and it looked completely unchecked from her mother, but it wasn't, I mean, she wasn't, it just was weird. And I just remember the time feeling that was just so weird. And I still think about that kid somehow. And like, is she okay? But this one, I remember this is that Raquel Squad, who was an artificially designed group of kid actors. I didn't remember that name from that. And they went on to allege physical, emotional, and even abuse from Raquel's mom manager, Tiffany Smith. Bad Influence unpacks Raquel's case to expose the dark underbelly of child influencers and the adults who profit from their fame. That is going to be on Netflix on April 9th. Okay. And then the next one to stream is called Spy High. When 15-year-old Blake Robbins and his classmates got their school issued laptops to use at home, they didn't expect for it to be used against them. The school captured a webcam photo of his in his room handling Mike and Ike candy and accused him of selling drugs. Spy High explores infamous webcam gate over 4 episodes, with executive producer Mark Wahlberg calling it a reminder that our kids' digital lives are constantly under surveillance. Well, it really wasn't. It wasn't that they were. If he took a picture with it wasn't that they were watching in his house. It says webcam photo, which means that he took a photo with the webcam and left it on that computer. That's not really, I don't know. Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke, and we've seen this one. So, yeah. Check that one out. Ruby Franke built a following of more than 2.5 million subscribers on her 8 Passengers YouTube channel, crafting a picture-perfect image of her Mormon family. Until her strict parenting methods started raising red flags. In August of 2023, Ruby and her podcasting partner, Jody Hildebrandt, were arrested and later charged with 4 counts of aggravated child abuse, facing prison sentences ranging from 4 to 60 years. And Ruby's husband, Kevin, who should be held accountable, but he's not, and their 2 oldest children, Shari and Chad, share their side of the story for the first time on camera. American Murder, Gabby Petito, also saw this, and you should check this out. For a couple of vloggers, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, their van life adventures painted a perfect picture on social media, but the reality behind the filter was far more disturbing. 3 years after Gabby Petito was found strangled to death by Laundrie, the Netflix docuseries unpacks the case that gripped the nation, retracing the couple's final days and unveiling the chilling secrets they kept off camera. You can find that on Netflix. Here's another one that I watched that kind of brought me to talk about and try to chronologically put the J-Bells stuff in order, and then the Janice stuff, and then the Fabric Queens. And I still got more to unpack. But it was the Scamanda. Definitely recommend Scamanda. It's an ABC News docuseries into the case of Amanda Riley, the California woman who pretended to battle stage 3 blood cancer while she duped social media followers out of $100K in fake fundraising efforts. Scamanda exposes the lies and exclusive interviews from family and friends, a neuropsychologist, and an IRS investigator, and that tries to dissect the mind of a master manipulator, and you can watch that on Hulu. Okay, let's see. The Kings of Tupelo, a Southern crime saga. Let's see what this is. In 2013, poisoned letters were sent to President Barack Obama, a U.S. senator, and a judge, and investigators immediately honed in on their prime suspect, Paul Kevin Curtis, an Elvis Presley impersonator from Tupelo, Mississippi. Now, more than 10 years later, Curtis shares his side of the story in the 3-part Netflix docuseries revealing how he became entangled in a bizarre conspiracy after discovering severed body parts in a hospital refrigerator. That is on Netflix. You know, there's something really interesting I want to show you about JonBenet Ramsey. I have this, I don't know if it's a radio flyer or it's flexible flyer. It's a sled that's made for Christmas time. It's a vintage, and it's a vintage box. And I said to Jimmy, who does that look like? Who's the little girl look like on the box? Looks just like JonBenet Ramsey. You're not going to tell me it's not. I'm going to take a picture of it and remind me to and show it to you, okay? Okay. So, JonBenet Ramsey, cold case, who killed JonBenet Ramsey? On the morning after Christmas in 1996, 6-year-old JonBenet Ramsey was found, beaten, essayed, and strangled to death in the basement of the family's home in Boulder, Colorado. Cold case, who killed JonBenet Ramsey revisits the incompetent investigation by the Boulder Police Department and how media sensationalism influenced the public's perception of the case while examining several suspects such as JonBenet's parents, Patsy and John Ramsey. You can watch that on Netflix. Okay, and then Charles Manson in Making Manson. If you think you know the story of Charles Manson, one of the most notorious cult leaders who spent time behind bars before orchestrating a mass murder spree in 1969. Get ready for a direct line to the man himself. On Peacock, there's a 3-part docuseries that unveils 20 years' worth of unheard conversations with Manson, where he candidly reflects on his crimes, as well as his brutal upbringing, his checkered youth, and his unfiltered thoughts on the Manson family. Okay, and then after that, there's another one. Chris Brown, A History of Violence. Chris Brown made headlines in 2009 after physically assaulting then-girlfriend Rihanna, resulting in felony charges. And a plea deal that included community service, 5 years probation, and counseling. However, the incident was only the beginning. As part of ID's network's No Excuse for Abuse campaign, this documentary delves into the numerous allegations against Brown, examining his troubling pattern of abuse spanning more than a decade and how he managed to maintain success doing it. Watch Chris Brown, A History of Violence, and that's on Max. They recommend the Menendez brothers, but I don't recommend those, so I'm not just going to go past that. Now let's go about this one. Here's a catfishing one. This might want to be one, and that girl looks familiar to me. Very familiar. Oh, I don't know what I just did here. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I'm moving the wrong... Here she go. I want to get to the girl that looks familiar. Where'd she go now? Here you are. Here you are, you silly. Okay. This one looks familiar to me. I don't know why. I think it looks like that's someone I know in real life. And this one looks familiar to me too. Okay. This is Fanatical, the catfishing of Tegan and Sarah. Indie rock duo Tegan and Sarah built a global community of inclusivity and passion around their music, but one bad apple turned that whole space bad. Okay, turned that safe space into a nightmare. In 2011, Tegan's personal files were stolen and used in an elaborate catfishing scheme that left fans stalked and terrorized for more than 10 years. Now in the Hulu Whodunit documentary, Tegan sets out to track down the culprit, unraveling the unsettling testimonies of her duped fans along the way. Well, that sounds good, and maybe we can figure out who the heck Fabric Queen is, because I didn't tell you guys. I called the number today, and it's been disconnected, the one that's linked to the tax preparers of Clifford and Sherry, and then it looks like their social media profiles are gone, but there were screenshots that people sent to me, and the things were there, like the MS and all of that. It's just, I can't imagine someone going through so much that they created all these social media pages, and like so many things were true, and the Pinterest, and that went on for years, and I don't know. I'm deep diving on that one. Okay, and then there's American Murder, Lacey Peterson. I think we saw this one too, pretty sure. It's in the American Murder series. Did we see this one? Let me see. I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we did. American Murder, Lacey Peterson goes deep into the heartbreaking case of Lacey Peterson, who went missing just before Christmas 2002. While 8 months pregnant, her body was discovered months later, just one day after the remains of her unborn child, Connor, was found dead on in the bay, right? Despite his claims of innocence, her husband, Scott Peterson, was convicted of her murder in 2004. This 3-part docuseries paints a fuller picture of Lacey's life and ultimately her death, featuring rare interviews with her mother, Sharon Roca, and Scott's former mistress, Amber Fry. And then there is... What is there? Face to Face with Scott Peterson. Why are these so big? Okay. So this is on Peacock. Scott Peterson's first on-camera interview since 2003. The 3-part docuseries gives a new perspective on the Peterson case. It provides a glimpse into his version of events and features an exclusive video chat with the former Modesto, California fertilizer salesperson, who's now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Dirty Pop, the boy band scam. Dirty Pop. Dirty, dirty pop. Boy bands were all the rage. Lou Pearlman was the puppet master behind some of the biggest, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and O-Town. He engineered their ascent to stardom. He was willing to break them apart by skimping on their pay. 3-episode docuseries delves into the rise and fall of Pearlman, who pled guilty to conspiracy, money laundering, and other crimes before he died in 2016, while featuring interviews with figures like Chris Kirkpatrick, A.J. McLean, and more. And that is on Netflix. Then the next one is Mafia Spies. Based on the 2019 expose, this 6-episode docuseries uncovers the covert plot between the CIA and the Chicago Mafia to eliminate Fidel Castro during the Cold War. What follows is an epic cat-and-mouse chase that stretches from America to Cuba, delving into the clandestine ties among the CIA, the mob, and Frank Sinatra's Rat Pack. That is on Paramount Plus. And this one we've seen already, the Sherry Papini. This one we have seen. Yes, we have. Sherry Papini. Right there. In November of 2016, Sherry Papini disappeared during her morning jog and resurfaced 3 weeks later with a far-fetched tale of being abducted by 2 random Hispanic women. For years, her story baffled investigators until one day they finally got their answer. Sherry faked her own kidnapping. Over 3 episodes, the Hulu docuseries examines the case, featuring interviews with those closest to it, including her ex-husband, Keith, who shares his side of the story for the first time. And it's called Perfect Wife, The Mysterious Disappearance of Sherry Papini on Hulu. I don't know if I saw this next one. Let me see. Tell Them You Love Me. I don't think I saw this one. Exploring themes of power dynamics, disability and race. Tell Them You Love Me goes into the case of Anna Stubblefield, a former white college professor who proclaimed her love for a nonverbal black man with cerebral palsy. Their affair ignited a firestorm once the man's mother argued he was incapable of consent, leading to a court case that saw Stubblefield convicted on 2 counts of SA and sentenced to prison, only to have the court's decision later reversed when it was ruled she did not get a fair trial. That is on Netflix. That lady looks familiar to me, too. This lady looks like my old next-door neighbor. She was a wonderful woman. Oh my gosh, so wonderful. That's who she looks like. Okay. Mastermind, To Think Like a Killer. True crime buffs are often fascinated by the psychology of killers, and this documentary is going to give insight from someone who knows them best. Executive producers on this are Dakota and Elle Fanning. Mastermind, Think Like a Killer, tells the unsung tale of Dr. Ann Burgess, who was a psychiatric nurse turned FBI specialist, and she looks just like my neighbor too. I just can imagine how she speaks, and yeah, I think I'd really like to see this just to hear her. Whose groundbreaking methods forever changed how killers are profiled and tracked down. Watch Mastermind, To Think Like a Killer on Hulu. And who was the woman that we watched on a trial? I'm trying to think. And in the trial she was she was there but they were questioning her, and then we watched like a documentary. It was on HBO. I remember her son was helping her get the files. Does anybody remember this? And she was going through the files. I'm trying to think of what case it was, but there was a documentary about her, and it all stemmed from her being on this case. And I don't think we agreed with her on the case. But then the documentary was pretty interesting. Now it's going to drive me crazy. I think it was on HBO. And then, of course, they have the Dancing for the Devil, the 7M cult, the Beauty Queen Killer, 9 Days of Terror, I think. The Beauty Queen Killer. I don't know. I feel like we started to watch this one or something. The Beauty Queen Killer. Let me see. I think we started to watch this. Isn't this the one that J Bells recommended? Elle? Is that the one J Bells recommended? And she said it was like an adult toddlers and tiara, but with murder? Didn't we start to watch this? J Bells recommended it, didn't she? Over 6 weeks in 1984, Chris Wilder went on a cross-country rampage targeting aspiring models, killing 8 out of his 12 abductees. Now, 40 years later, survivor Tina Risico breaks her silence for the first time to reveal her experience with the Beauty Queen Killer in this 3-part docuseries from ABC News Studios. Abducted at 16 years old from a California mall, Tina recounts her 9 days in captivity, filled with unspeakable torture and the horrors of witnessing Wilder's monstrous crimes firsthand. And then, of course, they're saying the Jinx, which I agree with that. That's Robert Durst. Oh, yeah. HBO's, yep, we've watched that. Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. So this is another one about kids TV. Ever since, Jeanette McCurdy's 2022 memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, exposed the toxic culture of the Nickelodeon empire and child stardom. Other whistleblowers have stepped forward with additional revelations about the behind-the-scenes working on the children's TV network. This is a 4-part docuseries with a bonus episode on April 7th. Former child stars, including Drake and Josh's Drake Bell, Zoe's 101's Alexis Nichols, and crew members reflect on the experiences working with producer Dan Snyder, inappropriate actions both on and off screen, and untold stories of child actors being abused. Watch Quiet on the Set on Max. Synanon Fix. Wow, there's a lot of new ones here. If you guys are looking for new ones, right? We're really promoting the heck out of these. The Synanon Fix. During the late 1950s, Alcoholics Anonymous member Charles Chuck Dieterich established a rehabilitation program now known as the Church of Synanon to aid people with drug addictions, featuring exclusive archival footage and interviews with former members, including Dieterich's daughter. This 4-part docuseries on HBO delves into the program's transformation into a cult-like movement with practices such as forced vasectomies, abortions, divorces, and more. Watch the Synanon Fix on Max. Okay, let's see. American Nightmare. Oh, I watched this one. I believe this is The Girlfriend. Let me see. Yeah, I wasn't so. Okay, Chowchilla. What is that? Never heard of this. Dairyland. Let's see what this is. Featuring exclusive interviews with survivors, the 2023 documentary from CNN Films and Max explores the most bizarre mass kidnapping of all time. In Chowchilla, California, 3 masked men hijacked a bus carrying 26 school children, demanding a $5 million ransom before loading them into soundproof vans and drove them to an underground chamber where they were buried alive. Oh my gosh. How come I've not heard of that? Wow. Okay, let's see here. Here's another one. What is this about? What is this? Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, that's old. Curious Case of Natalie Grace is old. The Matthew Shepard story, I think that, isn't that an old one too? Scouts Honor, Secret Files of the Boy Scouts. Let's see what else we have. Last Call, When a Serial Killer Stalked. Shiny Happy People. American Manhunt, that I watched. That's old, isn't that? That's a very old one, isn't it? 2023 docuseries? Oh, wait a minute. Is that? I remember watching one, and it had to be way before 2023 docuseries. It was really a good one that I watched then. So there has to be a lot. Murder on Murders, A Southern Scandal. We've seen that. Waco, American Apocalypse. Inside the Cult at Sarah Lawrence. Madoff, The Monster of Rules. I am Vanessa Gillen, that we covered that case. The Killer Nurse. Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. Hollywood Heist. The Bling Ring. Sophia Coppola. Ted Bundy Falling for a Killer. The Tinder Swindler. Bad Vegan. Didn't we watch Bad Vegan? Thought we did. Allen versus Farrell. That's old. Sins of Our Mothers. We've seen that. Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer. Captive Audience. Oh my gosh, I watched that a long time ago. I'm very certain, isn't that? Steven Stainer. Okay, well, you've got a lot now. I don't even know if anybody's here. Where the heck are you guys? Good night, Victoria. Yeah, I'm going to be going to bed too. I have to do a lot of things, so we're going to do our word thing. We're going to do our word thing. You have to be up at... Okay. Good night, little lady. Little lady. Look at this. You just said you were going to sleep, little lady. Snooze. Snoozes. This is crazy. I feel like this is a crazy night, isn't it? I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, and there's zones. Oh, I thought you were going to bed, Victoria. Sorry. I'm glad you're still here. I tried noose. It didn't work. Okay. Ozone, yeah. Very good, Victoria. Very good, Victoria. Okay, all right. I thought I got sure. I can't remember that. Okay, I am going probably now to go to bed because I haven't been sleeping well for the last couple of nights. I've just been not able, I don't know what it is, and it's just like I want to get, now I feel sleepy and I want to go while I'm going. But thank you, and Hero will do. Okay, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be good, be good. Try that one for you, Victoria. Extra word. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody be good. God bless. Prayers for everyone. Pray for everyone, and special prayers for people that need it. Thank you. God bless you guys. See you tomorrow. God willing.